Welcome everybody and assalamu alaikum. This is season 4, episode 35 of Oz Media's Motivate Me 313 podcast. We are here with Dearborn's future leaders, voices of change in local politics. Let me go ahead and introduce everybody that's in the building today, starting off with little big bro Yusuf T on the ones and twos. We appreciate him as always. To the right of me, we got future Dearborn council member Othman in the building. So go ahead and give Othman a round of applause. Of course, you got myself, Omar T. And then to the left of me, we have Shadi in the building, another future Dearborn council member, inshallah. You guys get to pursue whatever it is, the aspirations, dreams that you guys want to pursue. And that's what we're here today to talk with these two young fellas, young leaders. This is why I'm looking forward to this show. And not often do you have, inshallah, future elected officials on the show and you feel comfortable. I have a feeling we're going to be laughing a lot. I'm going to mess with them a little bit because they're young, and I feel like we can have more of an open conversation. It's not one of those where we're going to sit here and read from a book or something, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to say their answers professionally and respectfully, and we're going to have hopefully a positive dialogue, inshallah. But before we do any of that, be sure to follow us on all of our socials. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Apple, and Spotify podcasts, all under Oz Media. Then you got our website that has all these platforms, which is ozmedia313.com. Shout out to our sponsors of Motivate Me 313. We have Hanley International Academy, Holy Bowly, Wingfellas, Juice Box, Malika Kebab, Jebet Coffee House, Royal Kebab, and Riverfront Cleaning. We appreciate all those businesses and their supports. Before we do any of that or talk about any of that, let's go ahead and give a shout out to Hanley International Academy, Yusuf, the school that everyone loves, especially in the city of Hamtramck. So shout out to Hanley International Academy. Let's be honest. If you're looking for the place that has the best K-8 school for your child, then the choice should be easy, and that's Hanley International Academy. Hanley International Academy is a school that treats every student and staff like their own family. It's even in their vision statement, educating your child like our own. The academics there are great. The athletics there are great. Thank you to the staff and administrators at Hanley for educating our leaders of tomorrow. To learn more about Hanley, you can visit their website at hanleyacademy.com or call them at 313-875-8888. All right, we're officially back, ready to get this show rolling. So first and foremost, I know, Othman, we've had you on the show before. I always like to start off with my right. That is the right way of doing stuff. So I'm going to start off with you on this one, Othman. For those that may not know, tell us a little bit about yourself. What position are you running for? And anything you'd like people to know about you for introduction.
Hey, everybody. My name is Othman Anti. I'm a first-generation Yemeni American, the youngest of 6. I've been involved in my community from volunteering with food drives at Access to being involved in the mosques. I've also always been involved in the city of Dearborn, whether that's the festivals or local campaigns. I've always assisted helping others people get into political office. I'm also a software engineer.
Alhamdulillah, man. Shout out to Othman. Great guy. Anytime you see an event, Othman is there. Right? Shout out to my man Othman. And then we got Shadi, who I'm just learning more about, but would love to hear more about you, Shadi. Anything you want to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Shadi Mawari. Currently, I work in healthcare administration. I work for PACE Southeast Michigan. So what we do is we try to keep our senior citizens living independently in the community with the different supportive services that we offered. Previously, I worked for the city of Detroit's workforce development, where we aim to re-engage over 1,800 Detroiters back into the workforce by looking at the different barriers to getting a job. Whether it was a lack of education, we connected our participants to get their GED. Whether it was a lack of experience, we connected them to get their CDL, to different certifications. So that's a bit of the work I do. I just graduated from the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, with my master's in public health, and I've previously was a public health fellow with the city of Dearborn's public health department. So a lot of my work has been in the public health realm as well as city governments.
All right, there we go. Shout out to Shadi. Both guys doing great work in the community. Wanted you guys to know a little bit about them. So I'm going to start off with you now this time, Shadi, and ask you, what inspired you to run for public office for the city of Dearborn?
Good question. So growing up, I've always been intrigued by politics, and I've always been involved in different local campaigns for different politicians in the city. And back then, when we'd volunteer, like the best thing we'd get would be a shawarma or a pizza, you know? Nowadays, I think they get paid like $20 an hour.
Mm.
But as a kid, typically, people don't really listen to you, right? Older people, you would listen to the older folks. And during election day, that was the only day of the year where I would have different people, older people, coming up to me and asking me, "Hey, who should we vote for?" And I would give them the flyer of the candidate that I would be endorsing. So it was a very empowering moment, but it also highlights the need for people to vote for candidates based on merits and values. So that's one of the biggest reasons why I'm running for politics, as well as, like, I'm a 24-year-old. I'm Gen Z, and something about our generation is we're the most vocal, right? On social media, if there's any sort of issue, we're speaking up. But what's good is talk without action. So I decided to take those first steps and actually get involved in local governments.
I love that. I love that, Shadi. Are you related to all the other Maoris, man? You know, we had Selwa Maori, the author,
I
Mona
am.
Maori, all of them.
I am, yeah.
Great people, man.
It's a big family.
Yeah, how about Aki Ahmed Maori? You know, he used to be co-host with me. He co-hosts the basketball games with me. Aki Ahmed, I think he's in Cali right now.
Yeah, I know of him.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're related, man. It's a
The
big
Maori's a
family.
big tree,
We're
mashallah.
related
I
one
love
way
it.
or another.
Yeah, yeah, it's a big family tree, man. Othman, talk to me, man. What was what drove you to want to run for public office in Dearborn, Othman?
Two things: service and stewardship. I was born and raised here, and I'm the youngest of six in a Yemeni American household. Um, what I noticed is watching my Yemeni parents work and my neighbors work, and while the wages stayed the same, the taxes increased, but the services didn't get any better. And as I said earlier, I'm a software engineer, and my job is to solve complex problems like this and putting people first. And yeah, so what I want for Dearborn, inshallah, is for cleaner streets, safer neighborhoods, and modern solutions without hiring the tax rate. And yeah, that's why I'm running for Dearborn City Council, inshallah.
Inshallah, man. Inshallah, both of you guys get to a chance to pursue whatever it is that you guys are trying to get. And I know this might just be the beginning for the both of you, but inshallah, it all works out. And it's good to have representation in the city council or in elected official positions. And we know that the demographics are changing a lot in Dearborn. You know, back then we used to think, you know, I used to think, you know, Dearborn, a lot of Yemeni, but now it's like a whole new wave of Yemeni in Dearborn. And so, I mean, obviously, you want the right people in the position. It doesn't really matter about too much about the representation, but altogether, you want that to be into consideration, especially if you guys are educated as well. So, Othman, back to you. Can you share a bit background about who you are and how are you prepared for this role? Like, what have you been doing to prepare for this city council member role?
That's a great question. I mentioned a little bit earlier, I've always been involved in the community, whether that's mosques, access food drives, or being everywhere. And like you said, I am everywhere, thankfully. And that creates a connection with the people. You know, if I hear what the people want, what my neighbors are struggling with, and it doesn't matter what part of Dearborn you are, I have my connection to them. Once I hear their complaints, I can start working on the problems, start working on the issues that they're raising. And yeah, and I feel like because of that, I'll be able to be a positive impact for Dearborn.
Inshallah. Inshallah. And Shadi, same question to you. Can you share a bit about your background and how it has prepared you for this role?
Right. So I would say, in terms of the different work that I've done with local city governments, I know I understand the nuances of local government. I understand how different departments work interchangeably with one another. So alhamdulillah, I've had that exposure, I've had that background. And just being young, I feel like that really sets me apart. Me and Othman as well. It sets us apart from different candidates. We're the future. In the end of the day, we are the generation that's to come. And in the end of the day, I'm not a career politician. I'm not here to sell myself. I'm not here to sell false promises. I'm here because I genuinely care about the grievances and the concerns that our community faces. And I want to, inshallah, build that trust by being fully transparent and by being accountable to my constituents if elected.
I love that. I love that, man. You guys are you guys got the right mindset to approach this situation. So I think that's the most important thing, when it comes down to these kind of discussions. And, to me, this is my favorite question because it allows me to see what your viewpoint is on what are the most important issues that are facing the city of Dearborn today. So, Shadi, I'm going to let you start this one. What are the top 3 issues you feel like you believe are facing Dearborn today, and how do you plan to address them? And if it's not 3, you don't have to pick 3. I don't want to force you to say 3, but I'm sure you can probably come up with 3. I mean, every city has their own,
Right.
issues. So, what do you feel like are the top 3 issues, and how do you plan on addressing them?
I believe that the biggest issue is the reckless driving epidemic. I mean, just drive around Ford Road, Greenfield, Warren. We can see that we have a true reckless driving epidemic, a problem. Mental health, that's a big one. And unfortunately, mental health is very taboo in our community. And that needs to be addressed. We need stronger mental health support. And we need people to feel like they're heard. They have an outlet. They have someone they can reach out to. So, inshallah, if elected, I want to make sure that the city offers those resources and at a higher degree. In terms of reckless driving, I know that the current administration is doing a lot to address this issue, but I want to take a stronger standpoint in terms of an increased degree of smarter street redesigns in both the east, the west, the south end. And I want to build that connection with the prosecutor because, in the end of the day, people are getting pulled over. They're getting a ticket, and in the grand scheme of things, that's just a slap on the wrist. But by having that connection, by facilitating collaboration with the prosecution, we can ensure that people that reckless drive are being held fully accountable to their actions. And another big thing for me is reducing the tax burden and cutting red tape. So, mashallah, Dearborn's a city full of entrepreneurs, immigrants. This is the true embodiment of the American dream, something that my father came to this country and was able to achieve. So I want to make sure that Dearborn continues to embody the American dream that my father, that I would say a lot of our parents came to this country chasing.
To continue that dream and keep it going, man. I love that.
Right.
I love that. How about you, Othman? What do you feel like are the top 3 issues facing the community today of Dearborn?
The first one will probably be city spending, and I'll get into that. So it's basically being transparent with where the residents' money is going and cutting inefficiency before we ask for more money from our residents. Number 2 will probably neighborhood cleanliness and code enforcement. We could launch a clean streets app, and you could report violators and find them, and have strict ordinances, and also have a team where a crew goes out and helps you clean like a dirty street or neighborhood. And my last point would probably be public safety and reckless driving, kind of like what Shadi mentioned. Maybe establish traffic calming ideas. You see it a lot now with the current administration. They're launching speed humps, speed radars. I think these are effective. We need more of them. Also, crosswalks. I know we need one on Warren. I think they're talking about that with the recent innovations that are going to go into Warren, especially next to the mosques. Because I cross that every day with my father, who's he could be pretty slow, and it's very dangerous. There's a lot of reckless driving going on. And then also equipping the Dearborn Police Department with the data to identify the hot spots and not necessarily expand our ticket quotas either, just to be effective as possible.
I love that, man. Very good approaches. I think those are some very good things to focus on and to discuss. So I appreciate you guys for sharing those information. We're going to run our next ad break right quick, Yusuf, and we're going to go ahead and give a shout out to our good friends over there at Juicebox. I'm sorry. We're going to give a shout out to Juicebox, our good friends over there at Juicebox, and then we'll keep things rolling. So shout out to Juicebox. If you're looking for a place with the best smoothies, milkshakes, ice cream, cereal bars, and slushies, then Juicebox is your one-stop shop. You can try things like their Biscoff or Nutella shakes, crepes, watermelon blast, strawberry burst, or mango smoothies. Juicebox currently has 4 locations: Hamtramck, Dearborn, Detroit, and Trenton. So be sure to stop by Juicebox and get ready to leave there with a big smile on your face. You can also visit their website at juiceboxblend.com or download their app at juiceboxblend App. With that said, going off of that, back to you, Othman, is how do you plan to engage and represent the diverse communities with Dearborn? So before you answer that question, this is one thing that I think it's important to talk about because I didn't grow up in Dearborn. I grew up in the city of Hamtramck, born in Detroit, but then we grew up in Hamtramck our whole lives pretty much. And I moved out here, a few years ago, and I really never noticed the way that the city, when you really look into it, it's really divided in some ways. And I'm not overall. I think the city is united. Like if something big happened, we would come together, but on an everyday basis, you kind of see how the moves are being made, and you kind of like sometimes wonder like why is that happening. And I think this is an important conversation, and I think this is something that needs to be addressed. So, what are your thoughts, Othman, on this whole situation, and how do you plan on, representing again the whole diverse community and not just one community?
I probably have an event every month, monthly council in your neighborhood. Maybe one day in the month we'll go to the south end, and then one day we'll go to the west end, and then we'll go to the east end, and we'll keep rotating, and then we'll show up at churches, mosques, and we'll be able to get a part of every community like that. Also, involving the youth. Maybe we could have internships for tech internships for students, to be involved with the city government.
I love that. I love that. How about you, Shadi? How can you make sure that you're not focusing just on one community, but you're focusing on all the different communities that reside in the city of Dearborn?
I really love that question. So I feel like the strength that Dearborn has as a city is its uniqueness. I've been to plenty of states, plenty of cities all across the nation, even other countries, and I have yet to find a community as diverse, as welcoming, as Dearborn. So it's imperative for every single community to feel like they're represented, to be represented. A governing body needs to be a representation of its constituents, and unfortunately, I don't believe that's the case currently. But as an elected official, if elected, inshallah, I want to make sure that those bridges are being built to foster transparency, accountability with the people and government, because politics, in the end of the day, is servitude. We are elected by the people, so we should work for the people.
Yeah. No, good points. Good points, man. Give these guys a round of applause, man. Those were both good answers. You're serving the community. I think sometimes a lot of people who are in elected official positions forget that.
Right.
Once they get that spot, they forget that, hey, we put you in there. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to be mean, and it's not everybody. I think there's some great ones out there too. But I think once you start losing focus on that, that becomes an issue, and you start worrying about your own agendas. That becomes an issue, and you start worrying about your own community. I think that becomes an issue, and we see it far too often. That's why it's so important to put the right people in the right positions. I'm as a member of the community. I don't reside in Dearborn, but I know I'm involved, and I'm involved with neighboring cities as well. And that's one thing that I don't like seeing, and I feel like, especially us being Muslim, once you get that leadership position, it's an amana.
So
And I think that that's what more people need to realize when they do get those positions. It's an amana, and everything that you do will be judged based off of your decisions. So, always remember that you're not there representing just yourself, just your family, just your community. You're representing everybody. You are the council member of the city of Dearborn. You know what I'm saying? So take that position seriously. Focus on what you can do to bring the communities together. If you are dividing us, the city is going to be divided, plain and simple. You are the leader. It starts with the leaders. So make sure that is a focus, and I hope that is something that you guys do take serious, and I think you guys will. So to you, Shadi, is what is your vision for Dearborn in the next 5 years, man?
I want Dearborn to be a healthier and safer city. I want us to continue to have low response times, and I'm an ambitious guy, so I hope that we have the lowest response times in all of Michigan. I want to make sure that our emergency responders are fully staffed and fully equipped to address anything at any moment. And I want Dearborn to continue to be the economic hub of Wayne County, just going out at different coffee shops, different restaurants, different places. You see people from all over coming to Dearborn for what we have to offer. So I want to make sure that that's continued, and by cutting red tape so that these small business owners can thrive in the city, and our local economy can thrive as well.
Mm, great answer. Othman, back to you. What is your vision for Dearborn for the next 5 years?
By 2030, I want Dearborn to be Michigan's benchmark for smart and fiscally responsible city. I also want most of the city services to be trackable online, whether that's pothole reporting or permit request. And finally, I want a reduction in the amount of litter in the city, and also a reduction in the traffic violations and accidents.
I love that. And feel free to expand on your answers, guys. Like, I don't want y'all to feel like that you guys have to cause y'all answering this like we're in a real situation, right? Have fun with it. And you guys want to expand on it. I mean, we were supposed to have a couple more people here, but now it's just two of you, so you're more than welcome to use up more time if needed. Now I believe it's your chance to start now. Othman, is what challenges do you anticipate in your campaign, and how do you plan to overcome them? So if I'm correct, there's no primary for either races?
Correct.
Yeah, so there's no primary for the council or for the mayor, huh?
Right.
Crazy. First time in a long time, right? If I'm correct?
Yeah,
100
first time
years,
in
I
the
believe. If
100
I'm not
years?
mistaken.
The whole history of Dearborn. This
Wow.
is the first time it's happened.
Yep.
Wow. So, I believe, how many are going to be advancing out of, I think 13 people are running, or how many
13 people are running.
and 3 advance?
And then
There's
all,
7 seats.
Yeah.
Oh, all 7 seats?
Yeah.
Right.
So
All 7 seats are for re-election.
Wow.
So there's no primary. So we're all going to the general election, and we're all 13 candidates are running for those 7 seats, including the incumbent candidates.
All of them are running?
6 out of 7.
Oh, interesting.
Right.
Wow. That's very interesting. So in Dearborn, everybody at the same time, see, I'm trying to make it 3 and 3. So every 2 years you have 3 seats open up, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's still 4 years, but it's every,
Correct.
you know what I mean? So that's why I was wondering. But in Dearborn, everybody, all 4 years, every 4 years, it switches up.
That's right.
That's interesting. So going back to you, what challenges do you anticipate in your campaign, and how do you plan to overcome them?
3 things: name recognition, funding, and voter fatigue. So how I'm attacking this is for name recognition, I'm using social media a lot. I'm creating videos.
I saw that
posts.
video of TCD, man. I see you out there, Othman.
Alhamdulillah, that got like 110K views. So
Yeah.
shout out TCD for doing that for me.
That boy Othman hit us with the walk and talk. Hey, once you see the walk and talk, it's official. You know what I'm saying? Those commercials where the guy is walking or the girl is walking and talking, it's official. But go ahead, Othman. My bad.
Alhamdulillah. No, you're good. I appreciate that. Also funding. So what I'm doing for that is I'm creating a WhatsApp group, trying to get all the neighbors and businesses in there and try to get them to donate even $10. It goes a long way. I'm trying to get like 10,000 within the next few weeks. Then voter fatigue, just simplifying the message so everybody understands, because not everybody is politically savvy, for example. Everybody wants a cleaner neighborhood. Everybody wants safer streets, and everybody wants affordability, you know what I mean, with modern city services.
I like that. Shadi, same question to you, and it's pretty much is, what challenges do you anticipate in your campaign, and how do you plan on overcoming them?
So Dearborn's a very diverse city. We have a population of a little over 110,000. Don't quote me on this, but I think we have 70,000 people that are registered to vote in the city. So just Dearborn being a city of this large size, the biggest challenge is actually getting in front of the voters and hearing what they want. And another challenge would be getting people registered to vote. Unfortunately, something I see in my community is a lot of people have distrust in politics and are only fixated on the presidential race. Like, as we've seen in this last election, we've had record number turnout in the presidential election, but that shouldn't be just the case just for the presidential election. In fact, in my humble opinion, I believe local elections are much more important, because in the grand scheme of things, whether we elect a Democrat or a Republican, not much is really going to change, at least in our own communities. But what the best thing we can do is actually make a change in our own backyard, in the place we live. That's something that's more tangible and much more attainable, in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
So the biggest challenge, I would say, is getting people registered to vote, getting them out to vote, and just getting in front of all the voters, all 70,000.
Yeah. No, I agree, and I think local elections are more important than the national elections, because of the fact that that's direct impact.
Right.
We're talking direct. I'm not saying that the national elections are not important. I'm just saying that the local, I feel like, has a slight edge because that person could be your neighbor,
That's true.
and you want change to happen. Hey, buddy, maybe you and your constituents need to meet up and discuss this conversation, or blah blah blah, or you can directly speak to somebody and complain to them about issues that can be brought up in their meetings.
That's the beauty of it. I mean, I can go to a city council meeting, it's public, and I can have my 3 minutes to speak. But I can't call up the president and tell him, hey, I have this issue.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I agree, and I think that's why the local elections are very important, and that's why you need to go out and vote this upcoming November because they don't have a primary. So, but we'll talk a little bit more about that as we move into the last third of the show. So, Yusuf, we're gonna run our last ad of today, and we're gonna go ahead and give a shout out to Wingfellas, our good friends over there at Wingfellas. They do have a Dearborn location, so before you vote, depending on the time, go grab you some wings, before you go voting at Wingfellas. So, shout out to Wingfellas.
Man, they're delicious. I ain't gonna lie.
Do you know what goes perfect with the big game or your favorite TV show? Some deliciously tender wings from Wingfellas. Wingfellas restaurant is home to the best wings in Michigan. With over 20 different sauces and seasonings to choose from, you can make sure every wing order you make caters to your taste buds. They have 7 different locations in Michigan. They have a location in Dearborn, Southfield, Detroit, Belleville, Wyandotte, Flint, and Taylor. So no matter where you are at in the state, Wingfellas is your one-stop shop for some fall-off-the-bone wings. Also, be sure to visit them at their website at thewingfellas.com. All right, we're officially back, keeping it rolling again. We're here with Shadi. We're here with Othman. They're here to talk about their candidacy for the upcoming Dearborn Council election for the city of Dearborn, and they are one of 13 people running for 7 seats on the council. Is it 6 plus the mayor, or is it actually 7 councils?
Just 7 council seats.
And then the mayor doesn't vote on situations?
The mayor does play a pivotal role, but there's a 7 council seats and then the mayor as well. So that's completely separate.
So does he? I know this might be off topic, but in Hamtramck there's 6 plus the mayor, and the mayor is the final vote if it's 3-3. So does the mayor of Dearborn vote on any issues, or does it never get to him since it's 7 council seats?
From my understanding, he does play a role in terms of like making the decisions,
But he don't.
but it's
Doesn't get a chance to vote on them though, right? Like, does his vote count? Is what I'm trying to
His
say.
vote definitely counts. Dearborn
Yeah.
is a mayor strong city, so yeah.
Okay. So what if it's 4-4 then? If he's the 8th person,
It'll go whatever the mayor wants at that point.
sure.
I think so. Pretty
Okay.
sure.
I gotta look into that,
Yeah.
honestly.
No, because in Hamtramck there's 6 council, and then the mayor is the 7th.
So the mayor's the tiebreaker.
The
in
mayor's the
Hamtramck.
tiebreaker in Hamtramck. That's why I was just
So
wondering.
in Dearborn, if we had 7 city council members
Yeah.
and then the mayor, that would
I
that would
wonder.
be a 4-4. That would be
Yeah.
even.
I wonder if his obviously his voice counts, but I wonder
Right.
if his vote counts. You know what I'm saying? On certain situations, I don't know. I guess we'll have to look into that. Not to throw you guys off topic or anything like that. So I believe it's your turn now, Shadi. How will you ensure transparency and accountability in your office if elected? These are 2 big words when it comes to elected officials. People sometimes feel like they're not being transparent or they're not being accountable. Something about it. People hate being accountable. I think personally, if I was like an advisor, I would tell people to be accountable because I think people
Right.
respect that. People respect when someone says, yes, you know what? I was wrong. I should have not done this. I will not do that again. I will fix it and I will move on and learn from this mistake. I think it's very rare to see it, but I understand why people don't. They don't want people to be mad at them. They don't want people to hate them. How will you ensure transparency and accountability?
Something I briefly touched on earlier is the beauty of local elections and local offices is that you live in the city. I can be your neighbor. So if you have an issue, you can knock on my door and tell me, hey, Shadi, I don't like this. And there's that open line of communication. But what I plan on doing is transparency is key. I want to have an open line of communication. I want my constituents, the people that put me in office, to know that they can reach out to me at any given time. Maybe not past midnight because I'm going to be asleep.
Yeah.
But they can reach out to me with any concerns, any questions. And in the end of the day, I need to be held accountable. Every public servant needs to be held accountable, and that's something I'm saying on the record. So just want to make sure that every voice is heard, from the west to the east to the south end, no matter where you may reside. Your voice matters, and that's something I'm committed to ensuring.
Does Dearborn have a north end? I've never heard people say north. I've heard east, south, and west. Is there a north in Dearborn?
There's nothing
No,
called the
not
north
like-
end, but
What's
obviously
considered the north end, the north side? What area?
the other side of the south end. So whatever's opposite of the south
You
end.
gonna make me bring out a map right now? And know
There
that?
isn't necessarily a north end, but if I was to consider it, it would probably be somewhere in the east end because that's the other side of the.
I mean, the
south end.
north kind of goes from the west to the east. I would say like the border is what, Telegraph, but Telegraph goes north and south, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking like Tireman, so because that's the other side of south end. So I was thinking like that.
Okay. Hey, listen,
But we consider that
I'm
east
hitting
end.
y'all with some random questions, man. I'm sorry, man, but these are geographical questions, and I know that at home someone's gonna be watching them, but oh, he knows Dearborn. Let me make sure I check that off. You know what I'm saying? Trying to look out for y'all. How will you ensure transparency and accountability?
So we could commit to basically an annual third party audit, and then once they audit it, we could release the findings after 30 days, whether it's good or bad. Another thing we could do is publish a public dashboard with all the city council votes, have the service request times, how long did it take to get something done, and also have our budget posted, and then also have our spending posted so we could see if we're having a surplus or if we're going into debt. And yeah, and then also the last but not least, we could also have a quarterly live stream with the city, and they can ask the questions online and have like a Q&A online.
I like that. That's great points, and I think that, like, again, it's important for you guys as, inshallah, future elected officials to make sure that you guys are focusing on those things. I think those are the most important things. Everybody just wants to feel safe, and they want to feel trust.
Right.
They want to trust that the people that are in the leadership roles are the right people. And I think with transparency and accountability, those help boost that trust. That's just my opinion. Obviously, everyone feels differently about different stuff. So, elevator pitch. Hopefully, AI decides to take these. All right, because this is the fun one. All right. I want to know why the city of Dearborn should elect you for your desired position. Othman, we'll start off with you on this one, an elevator pitch. Why, and you can look at the camera for this one as well. Why should the city of Dearborn elect you for your desired position?
Because Dearborn is paying Cadillac prices but receiving Chevy level services. I'm Othman Alaansi. I'm a lifelong resident, an engineer, caregiver, take care of my father, thankfully. And I'll bring the same data-driven accountability to the city. And my pledge is for cleaner streets, safer neighborhoods, and affordability with modern city solutions. Let's fix the basics and build a Dearborn that we're all proud to call home.
Go ahead and give that a round of applause, Yusuf. That boy said Cadillac prices for Chevy services. Chevy just took a stray right now, and they didn't even know it, huh? Why are you throwing a jab at Chevy?
I used to work at General Motors.
I was gonna say, oh, you used to work at General Motors?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So then, what? You had a bad ending with them or something, or what?
Something like that. But wallah, I just had a dream that I got hired by them again. So I want to keep the door open.
No, inshallah, that's what's up. Yeah. So shout out to Othman. That boy said the Cadillac prices for Chevy services. I'm gonna use that one, man, for something else. Shadi, and by the way, this is me giving permission. So if y'all hear that line, hey, I just got permission from Othman. Shadi, same thing with you. Elevator pitch on why the city of Dearborn should elect you for your desired position.
I'm running for Dearborn City Council to bring a new generation of leadership rooted in community. As a proud Muslim American, a public health professional, and the first generation son of Yemeni and Moroccan immigrant parents, I understand the issues that the working class and historically underserved communities face, from the burden of high property taxes to the need for stronger mental health support. I'm committed to addressing those challenges and putting public health first in city policy. So if you believe in youth leadership and public health, I'm the candidate for you.
Go ahead and give Shadi a round of applause. First of all, we have Shadi to the left. We have Othman to the right. And before we give any final words and final comments, I want to just put some stuff out there and maybe just pick y'all brains a little bit on certain situations and stuff like that, because I want you guys to be able to say whatever it is that you guys want to say, and I don't want you guys to leave off anything, because who knows, next time we might see each other, inshallah, you guys have the positions from now until then. So this is a time for you guys, at what moment, and maybe Shadi, I'll start off with you on this one, is at what moment, like, can you tell us, like, when it was like, you know what, I'm doing this. You know what I'm saying? Like, give us that story where you were like, this is what I'm about to do, and I'm, because it's not easy, man. I mean, once you're in the public light, you're in the public light.
That's true.
And unfortunately, not that you guys are bad people, but I'm just saying, like, you are going to be watched every move, and every move is going to be criticized. What you share on social media will be criticized. What you post will be criticized. You're always going to have people against you, no matter how good you're doing. So with all that into consideration, what was your story? What was your, what, I'm doing this moment?
That's a good question. So, like I said, I've always been interested in politics, and a dream of mine ever since I was a kid was to be involved in politics, because I really looked highly up to a lot of local politicians who I worked for, who I campaigned for. So it's always been on the back burner. I told myself one day I'm going to run for city council. But then the question was, when was the right time? And with this upcoming election, prior to deciding to run, a lot of people were encouraging me and told me, hey, you should run. And I thought to myself, I'm like, is this the right time? I have a lot going on, just graduated from school. So it was a lot of back and forth mentally with myself, and praying Salat Istikhara to see if it was the right time. And even Othman can vouch to this. I even picked his brain a bit. I was like, hey, should I run? I'm not sure if I should run. We had conversations, but I'm like, there's no such thing as the right time, quote unquote. I feel prepared. Alhamdulillah, I have a strong community behind me, and I'm going to put in the work. And I decided now's the time to run.
Yeah, I love that. How about your Othman? Like, when did it hit you, like, all right, I'm about to do this, man. I'm about to pursue this.
Honestly, people kept telling me to run because I used to always help other local races, and people were telling me you should run for city council. And then in Ramadan, it was like the last 10 nights. That's when I made the decision. Ironically, Shadi was the first person to tell me I should run, and he told me you should run with me. And then I was like, okay. And then he was getting hesitant. He said he's not going to run anymore. And then I told him, you know what, I'm going to do it. And then he said, you know, I'll do it with you. We ran together. We're running together, inshallah. Another thing I want to add is people are already going to talk about you. I'm already in the public light. As you know, I was already on the last episode. I said, like, I might as well just go for politics because I've always been interested in helping people. I've always been interested in politics itself. And I feel like we have a lack of representation. We have to talk about that. I'm going to represent all of Dearborn. We're all one big family. We're all united, but we need representation for the east side of Dearborn. And also from my, and it's not like I'm going to represent Yemenis only. Yes, I am a Yemeni. I am a first generation Yemeni, but I'm representing all of Dearborn. I don't care where you're from. I don't care which side of Dearborn you're from. I'm going to represent you. But we have a lack of representation. We have a big population, and that doesn't make sense to me, And we have other campaigns happening to try to address this issue. But hopefully, I win, and I could say, you know what, before the districts came into effect, we did have a citywide win with a Yemeni candidate. And yeah, I've always been an upstander. I'm not afraid of the pressure. I'm not afraid to stand up when everybody's being a bystander and they see injustice. Nobody wants to be the first person to step up. It's like a herd mentality. I would love to be the first person to be the upstander, be like, no, this is wrong. We need to fix this. We need to address this. I'll step up. I'll take the heat, you could say, and I'll reap the reward, hopefully, through God.
Go ahead and give these guys both a round of applause for those responses. And I'm happy I asked that question because I feel like I learned a little bit more too about both of you guys with that question. So I'm happy to that. So y'all guys can prepare your final words, final comments, closing statements. As I one more time tell people that this was season 4, episode 35 of Oz Media's Motivate Me 313 podcast. Dearborn's future leaders, inshallah, voices of change in local politics with Othman and Shadi in the building. Of course, little bro Yusuf T in the building as well. You can follow us on all of our socials: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Apple, and Spotify podcasts, all under Oz Media 313. You can find all those platforms on our website at ozmedia313.com. Shout out to the sponsors of this show: Hanley International Academy, Holy Bowly, Wingfellas, Juice Box, Malik Kebab, Jebel Coffee House, Royal Kebab, and Riverfront Cleaning. We appreciate them and all their supports. Final words, final comments. I think we're back to you, Othman, on this one. What's the final words and final comments that you would like to say?
Honestly, thank you so much for listening. Make sure you go out and vote. Maybe I should remind them when to vote.
Yes, please.
For you have absentee ballots. That's 40 days before election day. Election day is November 4th, 2025.
So
you
they
can
can
vote up to
expect that.
40 days before our election. You know,
End
by
of
mail.
September. End of September, you could expect that, right?
Exactly, end of September. And then also, if you didn't make that cut, you could vote at Civic Center 9 days before the election day. So October 26, 2025, you could go to Civic Center and cast your vote. And make sure you're registered to vote, by the way. You may not have ever voted before, but this election makes you want to go out and vote. Make sure you're registered. It's very convenient nowadays.
Where can they register to vote?
You can go to the city hall and register. And then on the day of the election, if you want to vote on the day of the election, you can go to the school nearest to your house. That's where the elections and polls take place.
And you can call the city hall. They'll tell you where your precinct is at.
Exactly. Make sure you go out and make your voice heard. You can't. A lot of people complain, but honestly, the numbers are staggering. The statistics are staggering. We do not go out and vote on the east side of Dearborn. The west side, fortunately, like they vote, and that's why they're holding the city accountable. That's why they're getting their city services met, because they can hold the city accountable because their voice matters, and we need to make our voice heard. We have the bigger side of the population on the east side, but we don't vote. So register to vote. Make sure you show up early. Get your family and friends registered and voting early. That way, election day comes and we get the remaining people that haven't voted yet. And that goes for the west side too. Go out and vote. You know, we're all one big family in Dearborn, and we all want cleaner streets, safer neighborhoods, and modern city services without hiring your taxes. I'm Othman and Alaansi, and I'm running for Dearborn City Council.
That boy, gotta give that a round of applause, man. Yes to all of that. Yes, very simple. Before Shadi, you give your final word. Is you want change, you got to vote. Especially at the local politics. Like you have to understand that does make a difference. Some people say, man, president, man, it don't make no difference, man. There's so much layers to it. You're probably right. You know, I'm not gonna say it doesn't make a difference, but there's a lot of layers in terms of your impact of your vote. But for local politics, it's just very direct. It's pretty simple. You want this guy to win, vote for him. You want this guy to win, vote for him. He'll be in that seat. And the numbers are a little worrisome for certain areas in Dearborn, because there's so many people there, but not a lot of people are showing up. And who knows, man? What if everybody voted? Who knows where we would be if actually people went out and voted? So, you know, just throwing that out there. Shadi, give us your final words and final comments, man.
I echo what Othman just said. And if you want your voice heard, you gotta go cast your vote. And when it comes to local elections, every voice truly matters. There are candidates that lost by like a slim margin. 10, 20, 30 votes, and that's like 2-3 families.
Yeah.
So every voice truly matters. So get out there, get registered to vote, and vote. Funny story, real quick. This is actually me and Othman's second election. Our first election was when we ran for vice president, when we were part of the Yemeni Student Association. So yeah.
What school for what?
At Henry Ford College.
Okay.
Othman won that election.
Oh boy.
But mashallah, we both continued with the Yemeni Student Association. I was at Wayne State.
Yeah.
Othman was at U of M Dearborn. So alhamdulillah, we've had a lot of collaboration and just uplifting our community, fundraising dinners. Our year, we hosted the first annual fundraising dinner. I believe a few weeks ago, they just had their 4th dinner. So alhamdulillah, we were able to make that happen. And keep that momentum going. But just wanted to share that fun fact.
That's funny. But yeah, I mean, go ahead and give Shadi a round of applause too, man. Y'all did a great job today. Very professional young men. I applaud you guys. Listen, good luck to both of you. May Allah guide you guys and reward you guys with
Ameen.
whatever it is that you guys want, whatever your heart desires. Just keep Allah close to you, keep your family close to you, and don't let that change who you are. I think you guys are both great people. Both have great energy. You're young. I love seeing young people doing things that are needed in the community. And one last thing I want to just say, message to everybody. A lot of times growing up, I go to the masjid and you hear the imams or the masjid leaders, board members speak, and they say, "Where's our youth? Where's our youth? We need our youth to step up. We need our youth to start doing things." This is when I was younger till now to this day. And now that we have them, I feel like we are so caught up in the moment that we're worried about stuff that don't matter, and we're forgetting what we originally wanted, which was our youth to start stepping up and being the leaders of tomorrow today. And now that we have the youth to do it, it's time for us to step up as the residents and as the supporters. So it's our job to support people who are trying to make change. Win or don't win, I think you guys are winners in my eyes, because not a lot of people have the confidence to do this, especially at the young ages you guys are at. Othman, you want to say your age? Because you might have some, you know what I'm saying? People might message us. Last time we had some wedding invitations. Wedding proposals. You know what I'm saying? 28,
27.
27, 24, you
24,
said?
right.
So that's young, very young when it comes to elected officials and political seats. And so, but these guys, you heard them. You heard them. So you got a chance to hear what they had to say. Inshallah, follow them. How can people follow you, Shadi?
You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Shadi for Council. Also, my personal Instagram is Shadi Mawari.
There we go. And Othman?
On Instagram, it's Othman with like 5 N's. But I'm on every social media platform, even LinkedIn. Shout out to my LinkedIn guys. Well, I have people coming up to me, be like, "Oh, I saw your post on LinkedIn. You're running for office." I'm like, "Yeah." But I even use TikTok. What I noticed from every social media is you hit a different demographic. LinkedIn, you hit the professionals. TikTok, you hit the children, the younger kids, but you motivate them. Instagram, you hit the people around my age, I think. So yeah, Othman with 5 N's or Othman Ali Alaansi. That's how you'll find me online.
Yeah, and shout out to you, Othman, because like you said, I agree. I agree to that part. Is I think you guys should be on every social, because you do hit every different platform. They say TikTok is the younger generation. Instagram is like kind of our age, that middle age, 20s to about 30, mid 30s. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Facebook, you got right above that. LinkedIn is just a professional networking. So I think especially you guys are running, jump on all of it. You don't know, one video might go viral, and that video just might have earned you 500 votes just off of one video. So you never know. So with that said, again, thank you all. This was season 4, episode 35 of Motivate Me 313's podcast. Dearborn's future leaders, voices of change in politics. Othman, Shadi, Omar T, Yusuf T. We hope that you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you all next time. Have a great rest of your day.